Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg, episode 383. It really makes you wonder why I didn't just title these streams based on the day that with the date. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Originally, these were not streams. I actually recorded them and then uploaded them. But, yeah, it's been on Sunday since, like, episode 1. So, I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, we are playing some Vampire Survivors here. This is a very entertaining little game. Okay, I don't think it's going to be too loud. I don't think so. So, let me just talk about Vampire Survivors real quick. It's a little 2D rogue light. And the way that it was described to me was like a reverse bullet hell. Actually, that might be on the Steam page. Someone mentioned reverse bullet hell. But, you have... It's very Castlevania sort of inspired. You can see, like, the Bible there and a lot of other items. You get a whip. You get the knife you throw. And, I mean, there's a lot of stuff based or inspired by Castlevania. Or ripped off of Castlevania. But, yeah, you play a character. And you are constantly bombarded by hordes of enemies. Just a disgusting amount of enemies. That never ends. It never ends. There's no breaks. And, as you kill them and pick up their little XP crystals, you level up. And every time you level up, you get to pick sort of an upgrade, which is either a new type of attack or sort of a passive benefit. And the really interesting thing, and part of why it's kind of really popular, is that you don't control at all any of the attacks. It's all automated. So the only controls in the game are W, A, S, and D to just move around. That's it. So the game is really more about, like, maneuvering and about picking the right upgrades and things like that. Which makes it really simple, and they can really do, like, all sorts of wild different attack effects and stuff because you don't have to manage these 7 different types of attacks. All you have to manage is moving around. So it's pretty casual to just kind of get into. And it's very entertaining to just sort of try out different combinations of attacks and different characters and just see how it goes. These runs can get pretty long, though. They can be... You can win. You can actually beat a stage. It takes like half an hour. So it's not super quick. But you can pause at any time, so that's good. And yeah, I really recommend it because it's like $3. Which is another reason why it's very popular right now. Vampire Survivors. So that's what will be going on in the background here. Anyways. This week on this channel, we had Castlevania. Started up Lament of Innocence on the PS2. That will continue throughout next week, don't worry. We also had some Cataclysm. I think I had said that it was going to be the Iron Chef run, but I had forgotten we weren't up to that point yet. We have to do the Magic Only run first. So, the magic only run does not take too long. And it's a nice little run, not very stressful. Yeah, and then on the variety stream on Wednesday, I did Ark, because I felt like it. And then Monster Hunter Rise was Two Brothers Play. Yeah, so for the variety stream this week, I'm feeling right now House of Ashes, the next Dark Pictures game. I think it's about time we dive into that, since it actually got decent reviews. So that's the plan right now as I say it. It is subject to change, as usual. Yeah, and then Two Brothers Play, we are planning Monster Hunter Rise again. Viewership is not through the roof, just like it was. It wasn't through the roof the last time we played Monster Hunter Rise. Maybe fans are just over Monster Hunter now. So yeah, probably like one more week of Monster Hunter Rise, and then I think we're gonna switch over to Symphony of the Night. Yeah, so that's all that. That is all that. Over on the Exploring series, I released 3 videos this week. Astonishing, 3 whole videos. One of them, of course, was a compilation. The Money ROM compilation, so there was very little work involved with that. The second was just a straight reading of a tale. Took about 20 minutes. So that was not very much work. But then the big one was the first Chrono Trigger episode, which did take a lot of work. So far, the feedback for the Chrono Trigger episode has been really positive, which is really awesome. I mean, obviously, a lot of it is like people that have played the game to death or have very fond memories of the game are like, oh man, nostalgia, yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, as long as you like it, and you're not just like clicking on the video and then commenting, and then that's it. I guess that is okay. There are worse things to do. But yeah, overall, feedback has been really good. The views have been okay. And I've already gotten plenty of requests to do other games. Chrono Cross. A lot of Chrono Cross requests, probably because no one actually wants to play it themselves. Final Fantasy Tactics and like Xenosaga and other Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy 14 again, blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, people seem to like the format, which is good. That's what I was concerned about. I did see like an appreciative comment for the fact that I was actually trying to make like an effort to narratively explain like why I was taking certain characters with me or not, which that's great because I did want to make an effort in that respect. So I'm glad people appreciate it. So yeah, I wish episode 2 was going to come out this week. It's not, because I haven't really even started it, other than the fact that I've played through the game. So yeah, when it's done, I'm hoping a couple weeks. That would be my hope. Fingers crossed. It is a lot of work, and I actually was talking with my parents about, like, it might actually, if the video game stuff really does pick up and blow up, and I was like, and I decided, like, oh, I'm gonna do video game stuff as my main thing from now on. It might actually be a thing where I would hire an editor instead of doing it myself. Because I really don't enjoy editing. Especially this, where there's, like, practically no creativity involved. It's just grabbing the footage that's related to whatever scene I'm talking about and just, like, cut and move the footage so that it matches what I'm saying. I mean, that's basically, it's like a monkey could do it. So and if I could just focus on, like, playing through the games and writing the scripts, and then I just handed it off to an editor and then moved on to the next game, that would be like a real dream. I mean, that would be incredible. So obviously this is just like a pipe dream kind of thing. There's no guarantee that I'll ever actually switch off SCP, but that would be awesome. Not that, I mean, it's just, I like SCP plenty, and it would be easy to do it like every couple weeks. But yeah, doing video game stuff full time, and then, like, yeah, transitioning to, like, a Twitch stream on a somewhat regular basis where I could just record the gameplay footage on there and have that extra revenue stream. That would be really dope, as the kiddos say. What's up, Durden? Doing pretty good. We missed you last night. Lego was really devastated. So, I mean, I say that I'd like to be able to just play the games and write the scripts, but then again, I'm sitting here and I haven't started the second episode script for Chrono Trigger, so I don't know. Maybe I'm full of shit. But I do know I don't like editing, so. Starting to get a little chaotic here. I fell asleep early. Been up since 3:30 a.m. Wow, that's when I go to bed. Actually, no, I go to bed at 4. Yeah, well, you didn't miss much, I guess. It was not a very exciting stream. We were forced to get Taco Bell because every restaurant in Wisconsin was closed due to snow, apparently. So that was a little wild. Lego was like, Lego does not like Taco Bell, so he was not happy that that was our only choice. And he's like, what can I get to avoid diarrhea? And I'm like, well, probably anything with meat. He ended up getting like their Power Bowl with chicken, and he was actually pretty pleased. So props to Taco Bell for actually coming up with something that my brother would enjoy. Fully endorse me doing Twitch streams. Yeah, I mean, I like streaming, just like not excessively. It wouldn't be something I'd want to do every day for 8 hours as my job. That would drive me nuts. But I do like streaming, and I mean, if you can go into Twitch with an established fan base, I mean, like, you're set. The money will flow in. Doing the dual Twitch / YouTube life? Hot damn, man. Those people make bank. Do that for a few years and you're ready to retire. That's why you've been up so early. Crazy snow. Yeah, this was our first big snow here in Wisconsin. And normally, I mean, we're fucking Wisconsinites. We're used to snow, but something must have just thrown them off. So, I don't know. Most of the streams you follow only stream once or twice a week. That seems to be kind of a growing thing that I've noticed. Is that a lot of people are trying to avoid the daily, like, 12-hour grind. Or maybe that's just for, like, brand new streamers. Really, the only streamers that I watch are VTubers. And they stream pretty much daily, but it's only for like 2 hours usually. Unless you're Corne and you stream for like 30 hours a day. I'm gonna be the next Ninja. Ninja's like... Isn't Ninja like played out? Isn't he done? Does anyone care? I saw on Twitter like he was in some sort of controversy, and I looked into it for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, my god, I don't care about any of this shit. But yeah, just being able to like stream, say, Final Fantasy VII, and just like chill and just do like a really slow playthrough, because it's, you know, if I'm doing it for a video, it's going to be a 100% kind of slow playthrough. And just chill there and know that I can use all that footage. Because it doesn't matter if I talk over it or anything, I can use all the footage. That would just be kind of nice. Actually got a pretty good run going here. But I think if I did, like, the Twitch stream, if I actually got that far into it, of being like, yeah, I make videos about video games, I'm a video game YouTuber, I also stream on Twitch, I've got a dual revenue stream, I think at that point I would drop SCP. Because at that point, SCP would really just be, like, redundant. I mean, it would still bring in some revenue, but you gotta draw a line in the sand at some point. And that would upset some people, I'm sure. But honestly, like I said, like, I'm at over 800,000 subscribers now, yet my SCP videos average, like, 120,000 views. So clearly, not all of my subscribers are like SCP fanatics that are watching every SCP video I put out. Make a monthly SCP video for Patreon? Yeah, I could. I mean, it would depend. It would depend on a lot of things. I'd have to be really secure with the video game thing for me to drop SCP entirely. So, that's all pretty far off. But yeah, I mean, being able to just do that, have an editor to do all the video game stuff, and then of course you have like a second channel that's like, you know, Exploring Series VODs that just uploads the Twitch VODs to YouTube, and then you monetize that as well. Like, some people have it all figured out, man. But yeah, like I said, that's far off. For now, I just need to continue to focus and put the grind in. Work on the second episode of Chrono Trigger. I usually don't play this game with sound, so this is really just a fucking cacophony. Let's turn that down. The music's okay. So yeah, this week on... Yeah, so I talked about the 3 videos, yeah. So next week, I think is... Oh, next week is sort of an interesting video for SCP. It was somebody, I think, recommended it on Discord. It's sort of just like a collection of cannons. So it's going to be a video just looking at a whole bunch of different cannons within the SCP universe. Such as, like, I mean, not the End of Death, but stuff like that. And the Broken Masquerade. Stuff like that. There's a lot of them. And so it's just going to be a video where I just sort of briefly cover probably like 6 or 7 of them. And just kind of explain them and do a little bit of, you know, look at maybe like an SCP that's featured in it or something like that. And that will maybe open up people to be like, to maybe like request like a standalone video about, you know, certain cannons more than another. Because there's a lot of cool ones. So that'll be a little bit of a different video. And then that's that. What else? So right, so RPG stuff. As I mentioned, the One Ring stuff, that's on a little bit of a delay, probably for like a month. And in the meantime, Mert is going to be running Shadow of the Demon Lord for us. So Mert texted us all, and he's like, "All right, I got a really fun new idea for Shadow of the for D&D, but I don't play D&D, so we were doing Shadow of the Demon Lord. So I got a fun new campaign idea for Shadow of the Demon Lord, and you know, anyone that's willing to DM, yeah, we'll sit down and we'll play. So all right, sure, good. So we all sit down. I got the character sheets, we got the books and everything. It's all gonna be good. And it's like, all right, Mert, tell us about this fun campaign idea. And he's like, all right, it's set in like the Forgotten Realms. Which is already a great start. Like, okay, fine. It's set in the Forgotten Realms, sure. And then he just goes into this explanation, and like Mert is just sort of kind of a rambler. Like he's not the type to like sit there and formulate exactly what he wants to say and then say it. He'll just sort of open his mouth and then just see where it goes. I mean, a lot of people are like that, but so He just starts going into it. And he's like, okay, so there was these, the demon lord. So there was the demon lord. He was here, and the demon lord came, and these 12 individuals came together, and they stopped him. And they were called the Guardians. They were called Guardians. And there were 4 chaotic ones, and there were 4 neutral ones, and there were 4 good ones, or yeah, good ones. But the Demon Lord, he's coming back. The Demon Lord's coming back, and the Guardians, you know, they can't stop him a second time. So they have like appointed 12 people as their champions. So they're champions, and they're gonna stop the Demon Lord this time because he's coming back. And in the meantime, like, the 4 chaotic Guardians, they got corrupted by the Demon Lord, so they're bad. They're bad now. And the champions of the chaotic Guardians, they killed all the other Guardians. They're all dead now. And so you guys are the replacements for the good guys. You're the new good champions. And he went into like more of an explanation. I'm like, all right, let me just get this straight. Basically, we're the chosen good guys, and we're tasked with defeating the bad guys. And he's like, yep, that's right. And I'm just thinking, like, that is not a fun fucking new campaign idea. That's the oldest trope in the history of fiction. But Mert's the kind of, like, D&D player that for his character backstory, he'll be like a monk, and he'll return to his village and find that, like, orcs burned it all down. And he'll think that that's, like, a cool original backstory. I'm making this game look really easy, by the way. I'm surprised at how well this run's going. Anyways, so it's like, alright, whatever. You know, this campaign's not going to be long. We're going to play, like, 4 sessions, maybe. So let's just do it. So we get into character creation, and Shadow the Demon Lord character creation is like some of the best fun you can have. And I'm like, okay, you know, we're gonna try to play good guys, right? We're the chosen good guys. But I had come into the session with like a randomizer Excel sheet prepared for Demon Lord, so that it would randomize like my race, and it would randomize like the spell traditions that I have access to. Because I've played a lot of Demon Lord. I know how to make really OP, like, ridiculous characters, so I wanted to just introduce a little randomization. So Ziggy felt the same way, so he also went with the randomizer. I'll tell you there's 3 players here, so I'll tell you our 3 characters. I am playing a Yerath, I think, which is like a walking cockroach. And I'm a magician that has access to death magic, celestial magic, and time magic. Ziggy is playing a Naga, which, if you don't know, is like sort of a a serpentine person with like a snake tail for a lower half. This is by far the most powerful run I've ever had. This is insane. What the fuck? Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. So yeah, Ziggy's playing a Naga priest that has curse magic. And then my other friend is playing an orc warrior. And he randomly rolled his personality on the personality table. And the roll that he got was it just said kill. So that's great. What is this game? This is Vampire Survivors. Highly recommend picking it up for $3. Very fun. It's like one of those games that you know they're just going to keep putting stuff in, like year after year after year. And it's just going to always be great to fire up once in a while. Really been enjoying it. So yeah. Walking cockroach, a naga, and an orc. All with, like, dark tendencies. And... Mert specifically was like, okay, if you pick an orc, one of the chaotic guardians is like the orc is like an orc guy. So you're gonna have like special sort of temptations you have to avoid. And he's like, okay, like, sure, whatever. And then he said the same thing to Ziggy. He's like, okay, one of the chaotic guys is like a snake dude. So you're gonna have the same thing. He's like, all right, fine. Like, I'm just thinking, like, poor Mert. He comes in with this, like, gung-ho idea about us being these awesome champions of good. This is the shit we throw at him. I joked that, like, after a few sessions, the good guardians are gonna have to appoint, like, some new people to come in and try and, like, seal us away. So, yeah, it should be a raucous good time that I'll tell you about. I just read an article about it. Yeah, that's how I heard about it. And I was like, for $3, how can you really go wrong? And turns out, you can't. It's just good, clean fun. It's insane. But it's actually, I mean... The fact that I have done this well, while doing Hanging with Mangg, tells you that it's not that difficult to play. Like, it's not that complicated. I mean, that's really a ringing endorsement. Good God. Oh my God. Yeah, this is insane. So that's that. That's it in the RPG world. In the board and card game world, however, today, just like an hour ago, for the very first time, I actually played Magic: The Gathering. I played it with my mom. I bought a starter set for like $17 that just consists of 2 starter decks. It comes with like a code for you to like import the decks into their online service so that you can play digitally, but it's like, no, I don't know. I mean, well, maybe. If I keep playing, I might be like, fuck it, I just want to play online with people that know what they're doing. But yeah, for right now, it's just like, I want physical cards. I want to sit at this table and play. So, yeah, my mom and I played like 7 matches. We swapped decks like halfway through. And I beat her every single time, of course. It turns out that her knowledge of Hearthstone kind of fucked her up. Like, it did not help her whatsoever. Because, for one, she kept trying to attack my creatures directly, like in Hearthstone. Whereas, in Magic the Gathering, you know, you're just like... You're always sort of intending to attack the opponent's face. At least in, like, the basic mode that we were playing. This is insanity! And, like, the concept of, like, instant cards that you can use, like, while an opponent is attacking you, that really was a foreign concept to her. And she kept, like, trying to play them right when she was about to attack, like, right when she was declaring her attackers. And I'm like, Mom, you know, you want to, no, that's it, I won. Fucking insane. You want to, like, use these cards after I've declared my blockers so that you can, like, surprise me and then I sort of lose out. Whereas if I know that you've already buffed your stuff, I'm not gonna, like, sacrifice my shit for no reason. Well, let's go again, I guess. We can play on hyper mode now. They might just have these 2 stages at this point. I don't know what hyper mode does, but I assume it's terrible. A couple of your best friends are lifelong Magic fans. One of them works for Wizards of the Coast now. Wow, damn. That's what I finally thought. I was like, this game has been going on for almost 30 years now. And they're on, like, their 94th fucking expansion. There must be something to this game. And, you know, my mom likes card games. And we play a lot of, like, Netrunner. But she's not very good, and she's really, like, far more comfortable playing the same deck like 100 times, so she just has everything figured out. She doesn't have to learn anything new. And I was like, okay, it's getting a little stale, because I either have to play also really basic starter decks every time, or I play some, like, advanced deck and I just dominate. So it's actually better for us to just try different card games, so that we can just do starter sets of that game, and at least it's fresh. So I was like, alright, let's give Magic a try. They got starter set. So yeah. The whole, like, attack blocker thing. If she hadn't played Hearthstone at all, I don't think it really would have confused her as much. But she kept on thinking of it as, like, Hearthstone, where it's like, alright, I take this creature, and I'm slamming it into this creature. I'm trying to clear the board so I can hit the person's face, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, not that I didn't expect to win every game, but, you know, I'd hoped that it was more just like, you know, she just is not very good at card games, not she didn't understand how mechanics work. Because on the surface level of starter sets and all that, the rules are not that complicated. They only get more complicated once you get into all the craziness and combos and, like, order of interactions and all that sort of stuff. How did I like Aria of Sorrow? Really good game. Yeah. It's not my favorite Castlevania or anything. But it's definitely up there. So anyways, yeah, we played like 7 matches and that was all good. And I'm like, this seems fun. I definitely want to play more of this. I would like to play against people that are actually, like, good. And so I've been sort of reading about like the different multiplayer formats for more than 2 players, which is a pretty wild idea to me, considering like most card games I've played are for 1v1. But they have a product. They didn't seem to continue it the last couple of years, or at least maybe no, I don't think so. But they have this thing called Magic the Gathering Game Night, which I saw on Amazon. And you get 5 decks of cards and like everything you need for 5 people to play in one game with this like sort of interesting format. And I was like, I don't know if this is like the best way to experience Magic the Gathering or anything, but anything that I can play that can involve more than 2 people could be worth looking into. So I ordered I ordered the Game Night from like 2019 because it wasn't that expensive. And then I ordered like this box set of like 1,000 cards. It just seemed like the cheapest, easiest way to get a collection started. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people that goes to like tournaments or anything like that. And I'm generally not that into deck building. But like sort of the booster format that some people can do sounds really interesting, where you just like open a bunch of booster packs like at the table and then you all make decks out of them in sort of like a round robin kind of thing, and then you play with the decks that you just made. That sounds cool. It reminds me of Millennium Blades, which I think is the point. That was the point of Millennium Blades. So right now, I mean, we're right at back into RPGs. So I don't know when this sort of game night thing will happen, but yeah, could be cool. Map felt like a maze most of the time. Yeah, I mean, that's Castlevania. It's sort of what I expect at this point. Speaking of game night, I had a Dawn of Sorrow. No, I'm not recording Dawn of Sorrow. I played through half of it and then gave up because the stylus bullshit got insane and I couldn't do it. Not for lack of trying. I mean, I sat there and I was like, this is stupid. This is really stupid. And now I see that I could just get a ROM hack that just removes all the stylus stuff, which I really should have looked for in the first place, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad. So maybe in the future, I should do Dawn of Sorrow with that ROM hack and just record it. If I'm ever... That's the thing, though, is I'll never have a shortage of games to record, so I don't know. But the half of the game that I did play was pretty cool. So anyways, I had a date this weekend. Believe it or not. It was a virtual date. It was a gaming date, an online gaming date. The wave of the future, baby. Soon you'll just get married and you'll never even meet a person. You'll just play with them online and be like, yeah, we're married for tax purposes. So, yeah, it was with that girl that I sort of complained about last week. And so we kind of just continued chatting. And I think it was on, like, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. I think I texted her and I was like, you know, we probably could, like, do a phone conversation or something at some point to sort of, like, move forward. And she said, oh, I'm not really comfortable. I'm not that comfortable with phones conversations. So if we could just text a little longer. And I'm like, all right, that's a little odd, but all right. I mean, I don't really like phone conversations either, but, you know, if it's someone that I'm interested in, it is better than text messaging. I'll get to what we played. Don't worry. I'll tell the whole story. How old is she? She's 3 years younger than me. So 28. You must know. But then a couple days later, I asked her if she just had an Xbox, because she only ever mentioned having an Xbox. And I was like, do you just have an Xbox? Because I don't have an Xbox. But just, just to find out. And she said she has an Xbox, a Switch, and a gaming PC. I don't know what gaming PC really means, but she must play some games on her PC. I doubt it's Cataclysm. But, it is what it is. And I'm like, alright, I brought it up because instead of a phone conversation, we could just play something together online. And she was like, oh, that sounds great. So I think she was more just wanting to avoid us sitting there and talking about nothing while on the phone. And so we started talking about, like, what games we could play and all that and blah, blah, blah. And of course I suggested Minecraft. Minecraft is like, everyone knows it. Like, everyone owns it. And it's cooperative, but it's also, like, super chill. And we can kind of just build stuff and do a little exploration and just chat. That's what I figured. Minecraft is like the dinner version of a gaming date, I guess. And I could tell she wasn't, like, super enthused about Minecraft, because I don't think she actually, like, regularly plays it, and neither do I, but I think she understood the logic behind the suggestion. So she's like, okay, fine. And then we talked about, like, talking over Discord or on phone, so she, at least uses Discord and all that. But we ended up just using the phone. And the time of the date comes. Get on speakerphone. And despite, like, her sort of standoffishness that she displayed during texting and all that, as soon as we got on the phone, like, man, she became a fucking chatty Cathy. I'll tell you right now, we played for about 3 hours. So it was pretty long. She talked the entire time. Like, vocal. And most of the time, I was just like, yeah, yep, I did not say that much compared to her. It was insane. But anyways, we fired up Minecraft. She created a world. I tried to join the world. And it said, like, outdated server. And we both sat there and, like, tried to Google it. And, like, we couldn't find an answer of why it would be... I assume it was her fault, because... maybe that's wrong of me. But it said outdated server, and she was hosting the server. So I don't know. Seems like it could be her problem. But I don't know. She was playing on her Xbox. I was on her PC. I was on the PC. And, like, she didn't see any updates or anything like that. And I didn't see any updates. So I don't know what the issue was. But we spent, like, 10 minutes trying to solve that. Before she's just like, well, I think I said we could play something else instead of just sitting here. So then we switched to Dead by Daylight. Because we both own it. I actually own 5 copies of it. And she plays it regularly. And I was not crazy about it because, for one, I'm not crazy about the game, but 2, it's like, it's a bit more intense. It's like semi-cooperative because we're not like hanging out together, and it's just nowhere near as chill of an environment as Minecraft, but it was what it was. So we started playing Dead by Daylight, and I was familiar with like the basic mechanics as I had played a couple times. And of course, you know, I'm a gamer, so I held my own. I don't know if I did better than her. I wouldn't say that, but I think I did as good as her. So that makes me feel like a big man. There, that's a more typical run. Although that was on hyper mode. Right, so... yeah, she talked a lot. And... I'll tell you that I really don't see the relationship going much further. Gosh. Let's see. Why exactly? Well, for one, she's very religious, and she brought this up, like, just while we were playing. She's like, oh, you know, I don't know if this is a turnoff, but I'm very religious. And I mean, that when you say something like that, you mean it. It's not something like, yeah, I go to church regularly, or, you know, faith and stuff, like, you know, is an important part of my life. It's, I'm very religious. That's usually something like negatively you say about something or somebody. It's like, oh, well, you know, they're very religious. Saying that about yourself, it's like, okay, I believe you. And my whole, well, not my whole, my family is religious. Some people more than others. My parents especially are pretty religious. I am not religious. Almost at all, really. I wouldn't say I'm anti-religion. But I certainly have no interest in religion, like, in my life. I don't think it's like a corrupting force in the world or anything. It should be abolished or anything, but it's like, for me, I feel religion is something that's there that you should look to, like, if you need it in your life. And if you don't, whatever, you know. But to go with someone that's very religious, it's like, I don't know. Seems a little much. It seems a little much. I feel like we're going to conflict on things. And the conversation continued. Because she's also very conservative. And at this point, it's just like, my God, my family would love this girl. I I would generally say I'm apolitical. I think I lean left, but at the same time, I'm not even really sure what that means. um, well, I mean, for one, she was like, "Yeah, I list myself as conservative, but you know, I if the other side has a good candidate, you know, I'll take a look." And it's like, you know, people say stuff like that. I don't really believe it, but people say stuff like that. And she's like, if there was a Democrat that was really anti-abortion, you know, I might look into them. um, I'm pretty apolitical and pretty just everything, but I'm not really anti-abortion. So that was another like, and I don't think it's like I'm just this isn't any fault of hers or anything like that. She is who she is, and that's great and all that. I mean, it's not all great, but what you know, she is who she is, and I am who I am. The bottom line is just we might not be that compatible, despite like our mutual interests of um video games and books and horror movies, and we listen to the same kind of music. It's like still there's that's all surface level stuff. What other stuff though aside from that? She yelled at her dog a lot. Like while we were playing, her dog started like barking a bunch, and she was like yelling at it. And I'm like, you know, I'm just sitting there like a little awkward. She just yelling at her dog. But more than that, and I talked about this at a hang with Two Brothers Play last night. The weird part was instead of like, you know, some people refer to themselves as like dad or dog moms and things like that, or you know, they'll say that like, oh, I'm my cat's mommy or mama or you know something like that. I mean, I think it's weird. Um, I think that alone is weird. I don't do it. I consider my cats roommates. But okay, fine. You know, you say you're a dog mom. What she did though was, while yelling at her dog, she referred to herself as mother. As in, if you keep barking, you're gonna make mother upset. And I said to Lego that personally, I don't think the word mother should almost ever come up at all during a first date under any context. Because really, mom should be the word used in almost any situation if it is used. So, you know, mother, yeah, that's some like Mike Pence kind of shit. It was just, yeah. So she's yelling at her dog, calling herself mother. Um, you're in this picture and you don't like it. Um, but then like she just got angry a lot with the game. Like while we were playing Dead by Daylight, half of what she was talking about was just like complaining and yelling about other people in the game. Like complaining about the killer doing like some bullshit stuff, and then complaining about like other people like doing basically anything wrong. Um, what did he do? Oh, there was like at some point the killer was just like camping somebody. Like they were on the hook, and the killer was just like sitting near their body, And she was just like, she just complained about it nonstop while the whole thing was going on. And it's like, geez, it's just a game. You're on a first date, technically. Like, where is the first date behavior? This is insane. And she was swearing. And initially she was like, I think initially she was kind of on first date swearing behavior. Like she said frick a lot. Because she's like, oh, maybe this guy isn't cool with me saying fuck. But then as the thing went on, eventually she was like, fuck. It's just like, all right. And I swear on occasion when I'm playing games, but usually I'm never swearing about like other people playing. Did she take it as a date? Oh yeah, I said, this is our first date. Uh but again, like first date behavior, you're trying to be as cool as a cucumber. And really the issue is like she just kind of comes off as an angry person. As that's the impression I got between like yelling at her dog and yelling at the game and all this stuff. It's like even on the first date, it's just rough. And the problem is like I'm one of the most chill people like on the planet. Where I mean I've been angry like 3 times in my life. So and that's actually one of the big problems I have with my older sister, who's a lot like that. Where she like basically everything upsets her and makes her sort of frustrated and pissed. And it's just like, just chill. Like, damn. So to see those kind of signs like this early on, it's like I'm concerned. But I think the big red flag for me, the big reason why I really don't foresee this relationship going anywhere. And I only really realized it today, like the next day, is that during the course of the 3 hours of us playing together and chatting, I don't think she laughed once. And I'm not saying like I was spitting some like world class comedy routine at her or anything like that. But I was making jokes and I was like, I was trying to have some like banter going on. Not once. Not one, no giggles, no chuckles, nothing. And it's just like I don't think I can be with such a humorless person. Like not even like faking it. Cause like I was laughing at her dumb shit. Cause that's what you do on a first date. You try to be like really personable and sociable and just be like really friendly and you chuckle at stuff. Not once. And I just that I can't. Have I said a joke this stream yet? Well, I mean like a knock knock joke? No, I have not said a knock knock joke. I mean, I would hope I said something that made someone smile at least, but comedy is a nuanced form. Um, but don't compare this stream to a first date. We're not on a first date here. The point is, like, I was being pretty sociable, and I was saying things, and I was letting some sarcastic comments fly when she was doing stuff, and yeah, either she's very humorless or she was just so focused on being like competitive that it just like didn't even register. And it's just like I don't know, man. But sitting there for 3 hours and like me never hearing a laughter out of her, it's weird. It was weird. So that was the big red flag. But yeah, all of it together is just like, despite all of our mutual interests, really crushing your dreams. I'm sorry. I mean, hey, parasocial relationships. This could be a first date for you and not for me. Um, what else? What other red flags? Oh, when we were talking about D&D and like she was kind of interested in learning D&D. Um, and she said something like, one of my big concerns is that no one else at the table will be as creative as I am, and I'll get frustrated. I'm paraphrasing slightly because I don't remember exactly how she phrased it, but it was something to that effect, of where she said that she would get frustrated if no one else at the table was as creative as she is, because she fancies herself as a fantasy author, a fantasy writer. And like one of the days, like she didn't text me for like a 36-hour period until I was like, hey, what's how's it going? And she's like, oh, I just had a terrible day at work. I was just done with people. I was just done. And she's complained multiple times about her coworkers just being like stupid. And it's just like, I don't know. I really need someone more easygoing than this. I really do. And at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm not like head over heels about her at all. I'm not like sitting here like thinking about like, oh, can't wait to talk to her again. So I mean, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Despite us having a lot of mutual interests, it's just not worth all the extra bullshit. Being socially exhausted is acceptable. Oh yeah. No, I mean, I don't blame her for being like done with people for a day because of work. But it's just like another thing of like, she just seems like a humorless kind of irritable person. And why should I why should I put up with that? If there was so many other good things, it's like, yeah, she's just great to talk to and we have so many interests and blah blah blah. She's not religious and she's pro-choice. But yeah, I mean, there's just aside from some surface level stuff, there's just not enough there. But I don't know. I haven't heard from her all day, so I'm hoping it's just kind of a mutual ghosting. Like maybe she realized, like, oh, I don't want to be with this guy. That's so he's fucking cracking these jokes all the time. Like, what the fuck, man? Be serious. We're playing a game. I don't know. I told her I wasn't very religious at all. Maybe that was like, no, no, can't do that. But I've only been on dating apps for like a week and a half, so there's plenty of time, plenty of fish in the sea. Yeah. So as usual, I will keep you all updated. It's getting rough though. Like the dating apps, once you swipe left on enough people, they really start like spreading out the search. Like it's trying to match me with people like 100 miles away, and it's like really? I've already got I already went through the whole pool around here. Maybe I was too picky. Can I go back? Can I like go back to the start? Can I reevaluate? I think you have to, like, make a new profile at that point. But yeah. Anyways. Stop being funny. I can't. That's the thing. I cannot. That's how I was always through school and stuff. Always trying to be the class clown. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, at the end of this, the date, she mentioned, like, that she has appeared in some YouTube videos. She works for a thrift store, and so she's like their PR person, and so she's appeared on some of the thrift store's YouTube videos to, like, promote the thrift store for various reasons. She's like, oh, you can look up this and you can go check it out. I don't know why she told me to do this. It's really, it's really unflattering look at her. Like, she looks miserable in these videos. Like, she despised doing it. She does not appear happy or personable at all. And that's really, like, even more concerning. It's like, I think that's just her default attitude. I think that's just how she is. She just seems miserable and, like, upset that she exists. And it's like, I don't want that. I don't. I want someone happy that they exist, which I know is rare among my age group, but they're out there. They're out there. Anyways, all right. So check out. Oh, I didn't even say what SCP video I worked on this week. It was more aquatic SCPs. It's like a 45-minute episode or something like that. We look at 4 different aquatic SCPs. Just a good little mix of weird and more weird. And then on this channel, we got more Castlevania Lament of Innocence, more Cataclysm, House of Ashes probably on Wednesday, and some more Monster Hunter Rise on Saturday. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Thank you all for sticking around and chatting with me and putting up with my tangents and maybe laughing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you laughed. Maybe you didn't. Maybe there was chuckles. Maybe there wasn't. I have no way of knowing. We're not on the phone. It's not a first date. Remember that. But anyways, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.